Hi, my name's Danny and these are my diecast disasters. In this video I will be restoring a Matchbox Speed Kings K-55 Corvette caper cart. These were produced by Lesney, England from 1976 until 1980. There was a blue version with some stickers and this orangey red version. Let's take a closer look. To be fair, this car isn't really a disaster, but it definitely could do with some work. A lot of chrome is missing from the plastic parts. The paint job is fairly chipped, and on the black roof there is a badly oxidized and bubbly area. Underneath, a small piece of the exhaust is missing. The doors work great and the interior is fairly mint apart from a bit of dust. I start by drilling out the single rivet holding on the base. Next, two smaller rivets that hold the doors on. With this removed, the rest of the car body just comes apart. I drill out the two rivets holding in the wheels and suspension. I apply paint stripper to the painted die-cast parts. After the paint has weakened and blistered, I scrub it off in some water with a toothbrush. Here are the parts after stripping. I clean up the parts and remove oxidation with a wire brush on my rotary tool. I now give them a high polish with a buffing pad on my rotary tool and some polishing compound. Here are the metal parts after polishing. I give them a good clean with some alcohol just before painting. The body parts are given two coats of Tamiya X26 Clear Orange. I then gave it one coat of Tamiya X27 Clear Red. Once this was well dried, I gave it two coats of Tamiya TS13 Clear. Finally, I masked off the roof and gave it a coat of Tamiya X18 Semi-Gloss Black. The base was painted with Tamiya TS17 Gloss Aluminium. With the painted parts curing, I move on to the rest of the car. First, I remove the chrome from the plastic parts. I add a small amount of caustic soda to a jar of hot water from the tap. The plastic parts are dropped in and left for about a minute. Do not touch this caustic water as it will burn you. I remove the parts and rinse them in some cold water. As you can see, most of the chrome is gone, and what's left was weak and just rubbed off with a cloth. To repair the piece of missing exhaust, I'm going to use this aluminium tubing. I put some wire into the tube to stop it crushing too much. I now take some pliers and put a small bend in it. I find part of the bend that matches the bend in the exhaust, and then mark where I'm going to cut with a pen. A cutting disc on my rotary tool is used to cut out the small bend. I remembered right at the last moment to grab a cup to catch it in. I glue it into place on the exhaust. Now to make the small part where it looks like it goes up into the bottom of the car. I cut off a very short piece of tubing. This is glued into place. To strengthen it, I fill it with some super glue and baking powder. Now I apply a small amount of Tamiya putty. After this is well cured, I file and sand it to shape. That's looking pretty good. The front bumper section was a little bit rough and chipped, so I gave it a sand. Now the bumpers and exhaust are painted in chrome. The wheels were in great condition. I had to give them a little bit of a clean, so I used a dry brush. Just scrub the plastic parts for 30 seconds or so and they come up sparkling clean. I then use my chrome pen to re-chrome the rims. After the chrome has well dried, I dip them in self-shining floor polish. The interior is in perfect condition apart from a small amount of dust, which I remove with my brush. The windscreen is also in fantastic condition. All I have to do is give it a polish. Looks like brand new. Here are all our refurbished parts ready to be put back together. I think I came fairly close to the original orangey red colour. The exhaust repair looks great and you can hardly tell which side was actually repaired. I start by gluing the wheels and suspension back to the base. The exhaust fits back in. I drop the windscreen and interior into the body. The doors are fitted. I apply a little glue and put the piece that holds the doors on back into position. The bumpers are put back on. and I finish by putting the base back on. Now that our Corvette is back together, let's take a moment to be reminded of what we started with. Whilst maybe not being a total disaster, it has certainly seen better times, with its chipped paint, missing chrome and broken exhaust. And here is our restored K-55. It is looking much smarter with a deep shiny paint job and re-chromed fittings. It is hard now to tell which side the exhaust was broken on. Let's have a closer look at our restored Corvette. I must say I'm very pleased with this restoration, and I think apart from the missing rivet, if you picked this up you would have trouble telling that it was ever restored. It's a really great looking toy car. I really like the Speed King cars, and they are some of my favourite Matchbox toys. Thanks heaps for watching everyone, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.